should have prosecuted this. She hasn't seen this yet.
That look is for. I didn't really plan the day out well. Because as I got ready to leave, he said, "Are you taking a lunch?" I was like, "No, I'm good. I'll be home at the regular time." No. Yeah. And then I was like, "Oh, we'll do this and I'll leave." And yeah, so I'll be home like 1:30-ish. Yeah, no, there's a wedding. And I like to go through and update the vows, and I make these cute little signs with people's names on them and stuff like that. So yeah, I was doing that and trying to finish from this morning. And I have a jury trial coming up and motion came in, and so I'm reading and researching and blah, 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 blah. Not hungry. Just when the person says, "Aren't you taking a lunch?" You're like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." Hmm. Well, I brought lunch on an off day, so he saw my lunch bag. He was like, "It's not Wednesday." You have the floor. You don't have a card?
No, I guess that's the short answer.
I thought that's what Miss Manarino was going to get just now.
That looks like something. Yep. That looks like this. The lights go out, I'm sorry.
If the lights go out, we have much bigger fish to fry.
Need the cable first.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. I'm sorry. Are you breaking our nice stuff over there? These are 220614 OM and 220615 OM. They are both Van Buren Township versus Ross Earl Coba. May I have your appearances, please?
Angela Cannery on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Ross.
State your name for me, please, sir.
Lawrence Caldwell.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for the bench trials in these matters. Mr. Hadley, as a procedural matter, I typically write in the file when I disclose that I have a relationship, and so I'll put on the record right now that I am married to an elected official in Van Buren Township. I make that disclosure as Van Buren Township is the issuing agency. My husband is not involved in the day-to-day operations of the Public Safety Department. He doesn't know anything about this case, not even that it's scheduled for today. And he has no impact or input on any ruling that this court makes. Knowing that, are you still prepared to proceed with today's trial?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are the people ready to proceed?
We're ready, Your Honor.
Any preliminary matters, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor.
Any preliminary matters, Mr. Hadley?
We would ask that the witnesses be sequestered through the testimony today, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
The defense motion for sequestration of witnesses is granted. The court is continuing to stream these proceedings. If there is anyone who is watching or listening to the proceeding this afternoon who will be providing testimony, you are to stop watching or listening at this time. Any other procedural matters?
No, Your Honor.
I have no objection to it. I discussed it with my client. Your Honor, there was one video that was not previously provided to defense counsel via discovery. I was inadvertently, I think, just not sent over. Ms. Manarino gave me an opportunity to review said video today, discuss with my client. We're not going to object if the people intend.
Thank you. The only other issue, question, concern is that these are two different cases. Are we taking them up at the same time or are we taking them? I don't know how best to,
They all arise out of the same incident,
okay,
so I think we can just pick them all at the same time.
I would agree, Your Honor. It's the same transaction, occurrence of the same alleged events that these all stem from.
I think, Your Honor, the reason why there were separate case numbers, just looking. Yeah, I think that it was just a matter of the complaint forms not having enough space for me to list all of the charges together, and so I think they were sent over to the court in two separate complaints.
okay. It's not clear from my end because it has the date of the offense but doesn't have the time, so I wasn't sure if there was a morning and afternoon or separated by hours or whatever the case is. I've called them both. I've taken your appearance in both, and we've disposed of the preliminary matters. Ms. Manarino, any opening argument?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we'll waive opening argument.
Thank you. Your first witness, ma'am.
Your Honor, the people call Haley Perry.
Ms. Perry, you're going to come to this podium right here for me. State your first and last name and then spell them both.
Haley Perry, H-A-Y.
Ma'am, you're going to have to speak up, please.
Haley Perry, H-A-Y, L-E-I-G-H, P-E-R-R-Y,
I'm sorry?
P-E-R-R-Y.
Okay. Ms. Perry, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. I'm going to have you move into the witness stand in just a moment, but you will have to keep your voice up in here because the sound doesn't travel that well. The microphones are for recording, not necessarily amplifying as much as most people think, okay? You're going to come up here, please, have a seat in the black chair that's closest to me. Yes, ma'am. Your testimony is being recorded. So when you respond to questions, you have to say yes or no. You can't nod your head. That doesn't translate well. Should Heather need to prepare a transcript in this matter? Like I said, I know it's difficult, but please try to keep your voice up for me, okay? Your witness, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Perry, how old are you?
14.
And I want to take you back to the afternoon of June 21st of last year, okay? Do you remember that date?
Yeah,
Do you remember where you were in the afternoon?
yeah,
Where was that?
the park.
Okay. Are you
The
able to
park,
hear
I'm
me?
sorry. Miss Perry, there's a little microphone in front of you. Officer Brooks might come adjust it for you, but you have to keep your voice up because Heather, the lady sitting to my left, is recording you. If it doesn't reach a certain level, she's not going to be able to pick it up and record it, okay? I know it feels weird, but you have to talk loud enough for the guy in the back with the white hair. He has to be able to hear you. Or silver or gray. What was that indelicate? I'm sorry. You were at the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who were you at the park with, if anyone?
Kyla, and then her brother and sister.
Okay. Who is Kyla?
My friend,
What's Kyla's last name?
Fresno.
Now, when you, what was the last name? Presnell. When you and Kyla and her siblings were at a park, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Okay. Where, do you know what city or township that park is located in?
Belleville.
Okay. Do you live in either the city of Belleville or in Van Buren Township?
No.
Okay. Does Kyla, do Kyla and her siblings live there?
Only Kyla.
Okay. Does Kyla, well, what kind of house does Kyla live in?
A trailer.
Do you know what, now I know you don't drive, so I don't know if you'll know this. Do you know what roads her house is near?
Belleville Road, I think.
Okay. And you said you were at a park with Kyla and her siblings, right?
Yeah.
Where is that park in relation to where Kyla's house is?
It's like it's not that far from it. It's like in the middle of the park.
Okay, when you say the park, I know you had mentioned that Kyla lives in a mobile home, right?
Mhm.
Are there other homes near where, like that, where she lives?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say the park, are you talking about kind of the area where
Yeah.
her house is? Is that yes?
Mhm.
Okay. So was there somewhere in the park that you and Kyla were on this date?
We were like over by the pavilion thing where like these tables were.
Pavilion.
Okay, so in this community of mobile homes where Kyla lives, there's sort of a pavilion area. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where you and Kyla and her siblings were on this date?
Yeah.
Do you remember what time of day it was when you were there?
I think it was like noon or
When you were there, were there any other people around?
no.
At some point while you all were at the pavilion, did any other people come to the pavilion?
Yeah.
How many people?
One.
Was that person male or female?
Male.
Had you ever seen him before that day?
No.
Was that male your age?
No.
Was he younger?
No.
Was he older?
Yeah.
Do you know, could you tell how old he was?
Like 40.
When, let me ask you this, when that male was at the pavilion, were you close enough to clearly see his face?
Yeah.
Do you see the man that you saw at the pavilion in June, in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
Can you tell the judge where he's at or what he's wearing?
He's wearing blue. I think
Okay, wearing a blue what?
like jacket thing
Okay, and where in the courtroom is he?
on the left.
Okay, on your left?
Yeah.
Okay, is he standing or seated?
Seated.
Okay.
No objection.
We can stipulate the identification.
Thank you.
Okay. When that man was at the park, did you have any sort of interaction with him?
Like, what do you mean interaction?
Did you talk to him or did anything happen with him?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the judge what happened.
He came up to us and he like sat right next to me and then he ended up touching my leg and then I got up and moved. And then that's when I got up and moved next to Kyla. And then he asked us to walk him home. And we did. And then we went back to Kyla's house. And then he started texting us and asking us to come back over to his house. yeah.
Okay, so I think, I just want to stop you there, because I think that's kind of a little bit to unpack. So when you were at the pavilion, he sat down next to you. Is that
Yeah.
yes? Okay. And then you said he touched your leg.
Yeah,
Did he touch your leg while he was sitting next to you?
yeah,
Did you ask him to touch your leg?
no,
Did you want him to touch your leg?
no,
Where on your leg did he touch you?
like the top part of my thigh.
Like on your thigh?
Yeah,
And what did he touch your leg with?
his hand.
Miss Perry, I know it's difficult, but I need you to please try to keep your voice up. So again, the man standing in the back has to be able to hear you. The person who came in with you this afternoon has to be able to hear you. Again, I know it's difficult, but they're having problems picking you up and hearing you, okay?
Mhm.
Sorry, Miss Manorino.
No, that's okay. Okay, so after he touched your leg, then what happened?
That's when I got up and I moved over to Kyla.
Okay, and where was Kyla at? Where did you move to?
She was on the other side of the table.
Okay, so you were sitting at a table and he walked up and sat down next to you.
Yeah,
When he walked up or when he sat down, did he say anything to you?
not that I know of. No, he didn't.
And did you say anything to him when he put his hand on your leg?
No, I just moved over to Kyla.
After you got up and moved to the other side of the table where Kyla was, what did the man do?
He got up like after I moved and moved over the other side of the table.
So when you say the other side of the table, are you talking about where you and Kyla now are?
Yeah,
And then what happened?
that's when he asked us to walk him home.
Okay. And did you know at that point when he asked you to walk him home where he lived?
Yeah,
Okay, how did you know where he lived?
wait, no, no,
Okay, so when he asked you to walk him home, you don't know where he lives at that point.
no.
And when he asked you to walk him home, what did you say?
I said, yeah,
And so then did you walk him home?
yeah,
So it's you and this man, and was anyone else there?
yeah, Kyla and her siblings.
Okay.
were-
And so you walk the man to his house.
Yeah,
Where does he live?
he lives on Holly Lane, but I don't know the address.
Why did you walk him home?
Because if it was somebody that like is a bad person or whatever, I could like tell them where he lived and it would be easier.
As you're walking him back to his home, is he saying anything to you?
No,
Are you saying anything to him?
no,
When you get back to his house, what happens?
he goes back inside and then we walk back to Kyle's house.
Okay, so then you and Kyla and her siblings go back to her house.
Yeah,
You had mentioned in your answer a few minutes ago that there was some texting that happened. Do you remember that?
yeah.
Who was texting you?
He texted me.
Okay. At any point, did he tell you what his name was?
Yeah,
Okay, and what did he say it was?
he said it was Ross.
And so Ross had texted your phone?
Yeah,
How is it that Ross came to have your phone number?
because he asked for it at the park and then I gave it to him
Okay, when at the park did he ask for your phone number?
when we were all sitting at the table at the pavilion. But that's when he first got there.
Was that before or after he touched your leg?
Before.
Okay, so when he comes and sits down, he asks you for your phone number
Yes.
and you give him your number.
Yeah.
Why
Yes.
did- Sorry, guys.
No, yes?
Yes.
Why did you give Ross your phone number?
Because like if like I said about the one part, like if he was a bad person or whatever, I could like it would be easier if I had his phone number and just gave it to the
If he was a bad person, it'd be easier if you gave your number to him.
no, if he was a bad person and I had like to get him in trouble for what he was doing, I could give him the cops his number.
Miss Perry, I know it's difficult, but when they can't hear you, I have to ask you to repeat what you're saying. So you just need to please try to keep your voice up. Again, you have to be able to speak loud enough for the people in the back of the room to hear. Talk like you're talking with your friends at that same volume, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And so you gave your phone number to Ross because you were concerned that if he was a bad person, and I think is how you phrased it, that you would have his phone number to give to the police.
Yeah.
What made you think that you might need to have his phone number, his address to give to the police?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, so was there something in particular at this point when you give him your phone number, when you walk into his house? There a reason why you thought you might need his phone number or address later to give to the police?
So that they know like where he stays at and yeah.
So after you walk him back to his house, you now know where he lives, right?
Yeah.
And then you said you went back to Kyla's house.
Yeah.
And then how long is it after you get back to Kyla's house that you get a text message from Ross?
It was like a half hour and then I got a text message from him.
Do you remember what the text message said?
He asked us if we wanted to come back over and have a picnic.
When you walked Ross home or when you were at the pavilion with him, did he say anything to you about having a picnic?
No.
Other than asking you to have a picnic, were there any other text messages that you got from him?
He asked us how old we were.
Did you respond when he asked you to have a picnic?
No.
And then the next message you got was asking how old you were?
Yeah.
Did you respond to that message?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old did you tell him you were?
I said I was 14.
Other than that mess, after you said you were 14, did you get any other messages from him?
Yep.
How many more text messages did you get?
Like 3.
Did you respond to those messages?
I think I responded to like 2 of them.
Okay, and what were the messages that you responded to?
Him asking us to hang out and I said no. And then him asking if we wanted to go to the park again.
And how
If
did
you want to go, I'm
respond?
sorry, to a party or the park again?
The park again.
Thank you.
Sorry, Judge. And how did you respond to that message about going to the park again?
We said no.
The text messages that you were exchanging with Ross, what happened to those messages?
They got deleted. I deleted them.
You deleted them?
Yeah.
Why did you delete the messages?
I don't know. I was scared. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Scared of whom?
Like my mom.
Your mom? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
At some point, did you tell your mom that you had given your phone number to this Ross that you met at the park?
Yeah.
Was your and by the time you told your mom that you had met this Ross at the park, you had already deleted your messages?
Yeah.
Did Ross call you on the phone at all?
Yeah. He did.
Was that the same day that you saw him or that you met him at the pavilion?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Did you answer that call?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Ms. Perry, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but again, if there's a transcript that's needed, they have to be able to understand yes or no and what it is that you're saying. I know it's difficult. I know that this is very difficult for you to talk about, but I need to be able to hear you. The defense attorney needs to be able to hear you, and the recorder needs to be able to hear you, okay?
okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt your examination, ma'am.
And thank you, Your Honor. So he called you, how many times did he call you that day that you had met him in the pavilion?
One time.
Did you answer that call?
Yeah, but it wasn't me who answered the call.
Okay, so your phone was answered, but you didn't answer the call. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying? Okay. Who answered the call?
Kyla's brother.
Kyla's who?
Brother.
Kyla's brother. And that was the only call that Ross made to you that day?
Yes.
Is there any other conversation that you had with Ross on that day that you haven't told the judge about today while you've been testifying?
No, no.
So every conversation you've had with him on that June date where you met him at the pavilion, you've talked about in court today?
Yes.
At some point, did you or your mom give your cell phone to the Van Buren Township Police Department?
Yes.
And do you know the reason for that?
To like back up the messages and get the messages back.
And at the time you gave your phone to the police department, were those messages still on your phone?
No.
Okay, you had already deleted them by then?
Yes.
All right, I have nothing further for this witness.
Thank you. Mr. Hadley?
Your Honor, if I have a moment just to go over a few of the notes from the. testimony
Absolutely.
we just heard. I'd like to get the video kind of squared away here. Good afternoon. So we're gonna go through a few things today that you just said in court. We're also gonna talk about some things that you said previously today, okay?
Okay.
If you don't understand any of my questions, tell me you don't understand the question. And I'll ask a better question, something that you do understand, okay?
Okay.
So, do you remember after you told your mom what had happened, going to do a Kids Talk interview?
If we were going to do one?
Do you remember going and doing one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, where did you go for the Kids Talk video? Or the interview, I'm sorry.
The interview for what? The,
The interview that I've got up on the screen here. Where'd you go for that?
it was Kids Talk, but I don't remember like where it was located.
But this is the video from Kids Talk. That's what you were wearing that day when you went in there?
Yeah.
That's you?
Yeah.
So one thing that's really important here today is that we get the truth and we find out, what really happened. And a lot of things that, like memories fade. You would agree with that, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's easier to remember things, right after they happen versus later on. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
So you did this Kids Talk video pretty close in time after all of this, allegedly happened, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you remember when you started that Kids Talk video, they asked you to be truthful and to, not make anything up and just tell them what you know. You remember telling them that you were going to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And you did tell the truth that day, right?
Yes.
Okay. So would you agree that some of the statements you made that day when you were in the Kids Talk video, they kind of changed during the video?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think your statement about what happened was changing?
Well, because I was like kind of nervous and I just told what I remembered.
And I can understand being nervous today too. We're in court, so again, we're just trying to ask some questions and find out what happened. Okay. Now, today, you told us that this happened on June 21st.
Yes.
Okay. How can we be sure that this was on June 21st?
Because I remember going over to Kyla's that day.
And you remember when you did the Kids Talk interview, you remember they asked you when that happened, if you knew what day this happened on. You remember them asking you that?
Yes.
You remember you didn't know a couple of weeks after this allegedly happened what day it happened on. You remember telling them that you couldn't remember what day it happened on?
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
But you remember today now.
Yes.
Nobody's told you what to say today, right? This is your own testimony.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you guys have made a lot of different statements. I'm sorry, a lot of people asked you a lot of questions right after this happened, right? There was police and then the Kids Talk, your mom, lots of questions, right?
Yes.
Okay. Today you said that when the first time you'd ever seen Ross was at the park that day, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what time did you say that happened at?
I think it was like noon or like a little later, like 3 or something.
Okay. And do you remember either you or Kayla, when you guys had talked about this before, saying that this happened at 8 o'clock at night?
I don't remember saying it happened at 8 o'clock.
Like you said, there's a lot of nerves, but we'll move on from that issue actually. Today you actually kind of told two different stories when Angela was asking you questions. First, Angela asked you, when you were at the park, kind of what order of events happened, right?
Yes.
Remember her asking you those questions just a few minutes ago?
Yes.
Okay. And when you first told everybody the story today, you said that Ross walked up and sat down with you guys, right?
Yes.
And he grabbed your leg, right?
Yes.
And then you moved over to the other side of the table, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the first interaction the two of you had.
Yes.
Okay. But then Angela asked you again later when you guys started talking about the text messages and said, well, now wait a minute. It wouldn't make any sense for you to give him your phone number after he grabbed your leg and you had to run away, right? You'd agree that wouldn't make much sense.
Yes.
Okay. So at first, the first thing he did was walk up and grab your leg. But then after that doesn't make any sense, then you kind of told us a different version of the story today where first you gave him your number or did he give you his number? Because I think let's get that part clear. Who
Wait.
gave who the number first?
He gave me his number.
Okay. And is that what you told Kids Talk?
Yes.
Okay. You never told him that you gave him your number.
Wait, what?
Did you ever tell anybody that you gave Ross your number?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you did that first. You told Kids Talk that, right?
Yes.
But today it's the other way, right?
I don't know.
No, you have to know. I'm asking you. You're the only person who knows this. I know it's hard, but these are really important questions. There's been some accusations that have been made, and the stories, as they keep getting told, are changing a little bit, even today. So it's really important that you tell us and clarify what order these things happened in. So did you give him your number first, or did he give you his number first?
He gave me his number first.
Okay. But again, earlier today, the whole interaction started with him sitting down, grabbing your leg, and then you running away, right?
Yes.
But then the second time we went through it, you guys exchanged numbers first. Then he sat down, grabbed your leg, and then you ran away, right?
Yes.
Okay, so your story changed a little bit even today. Would you agree those weren't the same stories? It's changed a little bit from the first one to the second one?
Wait, what?
Today, when you told us that everything started off with him sitting down and grabbing your leg. And then when you told us the story the second time, you mentioned that, no, wait, we exchanged phone numbers before he grabbed my leg. You would say that that's not the same story, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep moving. Today, you told us in the order of events that you guys exchanged numbers, right? And then there was the leg grabbing. And then you stated today that you and Kayla, right, walked him back to his trailer.
Yes.
You never told Kids Talk that though, did you?
I don't remember.
Okay. When you spoke to Kids Talk, do you remember telling him that when you saw Ross, he was going out to check his mail? Do you remember telling him that?
Yes.
Okay. And you were just sitting at a table and he came over. Do you remember telling him that?
Yes.
Okay. And then we went through the part about him, sitting down and touching your leg. Okay. Now, do you remember telling the Kids Talk when you promised to tell them the truth? You told them the very next thing that happened was that you guys jumped up and went back to your friend's house.
Well, my story kind of like went from like the middle to the beginning because I was nervous.
Okay, and like everyone can understand being nervous. That's why we want to make sure that we understand it now. So after, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. So what you told Kids Talk a couple weeks after it happened, that when there's just you two in the room, right? That you were nervous then and messed up the story.
Yes.
Okay, but today, the story that really happened was after he grabbed your leg at the park, you and Kayla walked him back to his trailer.
When he grabbed my leg, we moved over to the other side of the table.
And then after that, you just testified that you guys walked him back to his trailer after that.
Yes.
Okay. So what you told Kids Talk wasn't really accurate, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell Kids Talk anything else that day that wasn't accurate or wasn't truthful?
No.
You mentioned earlier something that really kind of was concerning to me. When we were talking about why you would give a stranger that you never met before your number, and you said it was in case I needed to get him in trouble.
Objection, misstates her prior testimony.
We can cue it up, or I guess I could ask you, do you remember what you said during the Kids Talk video about this portion of
No.
what happened?
No. Your response to her objection.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'll
She-
rephrase.
Thank you. The
yeah, I'll
objection
re-
sustained because that's not,
Question withdrawn, I'll rephrase. it.
thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What did you mean today when you were telling the court, I got his number and gave him my number in case I needed to get him in trouble?
Objection,
That-
misstates her testimony.
That is the
today, Your
same,
Honor.
objection sustained. I believe that the explanation was slightly different. It was in case something happened. I don't know that it was in case something,
Yeah.
Well, let's just ask, why did you get, because maybe we'll get, again, an answer that's better than the question. Why did you exchange numbers?
In case like he did something or tried something.
Okay, why would you think that he would do something or try something if you'd never met him?
Because when he touched my leg, I figured he would like try and do something.
But just a second ago, you said that you guys exchanged numbers before he touched your leg.
I don't remember.
Okay, it's a fair answer. If you don't remember, tell me you don't remember. But again, I'm gonna remind you, you really need to answer these questions truthfully today, okay? I'm gonna try to avoid playing a bunch of video and comparing these statements, so I just need you to stick with the truth. when Ms. Manarino was asking some questions ago, a few minutes ago, you mentioned that there was some text messaging that went back and forth, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And you said that you, just a second ago, that you got Ross's number, exchanged numbers in case you would need to get him in trouble if he did something bad, right?
Objection,
yes,
misstates her testimony. She didn't say in trouble.
Okay.
In case something happened,
In case
objections
some-
sustained. Let's just be more
There you
mindful,
go.
Mr.
In
Hadley.
case something happened, not trying to be argumentative, I just don't have a transcript to read off
Understood.
exactly what you said, so I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. So let's try it this way. You guys exchanged numbers. You voiced that you did this for what reason?
did what for what reason?
Why'd you guys exchange numbers? What was your concern?
I already said it, like if something bad happened.
Okay, but today you're telling us something, allegedly bad did happen, that he touched your leg and that you guys exchanged text messages, right?
Yes,
But then you just also testified that you deleted all of these text messages so that no one besides you has seen them, right?
yes,
Okay. So your mom didn't see them?
no, because I deleted them before.
You're the only person then that has seen what the text messages said.
Well, besides the people who were with me when it happened.
Okay. Just a few more questions.
Yes, sir.
So in the Kids Talk interview, they were really curious about the same questions that we were talking about the exchanging of numbers and just, let's move into that. So they asked you a few questions. And I know it was a while ago, but do you remember what you told them?
No,
Do you remember saying, I took his number, so if he did something he's not supposed to do, we could get him in trouble for it because he's weird and we don't like those kind of people.
no, I don't remember.
Okay, would you like me to play your statement to kind of refresh your memory to see if you actually, had said this or not?
Wait, what was it again?
Would you like me to play this portion of the video so you can remember what you told the interviewer?
I don't know.
Would it probably help you kind of remember what was said?
Yeah,
You're on real briefly?
Yes.
This is not a scalp later on. My apologies. These things are all not my favorite of video players. You're all right. Fast forward about 30 seconds. This is kind of a lead up to.
That's fine. You're fine where you are.
Okay, so could you hear yourself? I know the audio is not great. Could you make out enough of it?
yeah,
Okay, so did you hear yourself calling him weird?
yes.
Okay, you said we don't like those people. What do you mean?
Like, just those weird type of people who like, I don't know.
I mean, what about him? I think you're kind of going there. I mean, what do you mean? What about him don't you like, or why do you think he was weird?
Because he was messing with little girls.
Okay, and why do you think that?
Because he came and sat next to us and stuff.
Okay, so just based on the one time that you'd never met him before, that he sat down, and that split moment, that's when you decided that he was somebody you need to keep an eye on. It wasn't anything else that somebody had told you before that.
No,
Okay, was it something somebody told you after that, maybe an adult?
no,
Okay, so just all on your own, you'd come to this conclusion that he was a bad person or a weird person. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say bad. That you said he was a weird person that you might need to get in trouble.
yes.
Okay. I think we've got a few other instances, but I think that more or less the point's been made. Unless, I mean, I guess we can keep running on these with the inconsistent statements. I'm not trying to testify, Your Honor. You stated today that you did have a phone call with Ross, right?
Yes,
Okay. And you also talked about having that phone call during the Kids Talk video, right?
I think so.
Okay. In the Kids Talk video, you said, and just today, you said in both times that it was about a picnic, right?
Yes,
Okay. So a couple weeks after this happened, do you remember telling them that you told them that you guys weren't coming over?
wait, what?
That do you remember in the Kids Talk video when you told the interviewer that you told him that you guys weren't coming over?
Yes,
Okay. Do you remember earlier today, you mentioned that it was actually somebody else who talked to him on the phone? You never talked to him, somebody the first time we've heard of about Kayla's brother. This is the
Yes.
first time you've ever told anybody about Kayla's brother talking on the phone, right?
Hold on 1 second.
Objection, I think it misstates her testimony. Her testimony was that
Excuse me.
Kayla's brother spoke to anyone on the phone. I think it was that Kayla's brother answered the call.
Okay, I think I may have made the inference that he answered the call that he then spoke. So was your testimony earlier that Kayla's brother answered the phone call when Ross called?
he answered it, yes.
Okay, he talked to him at all?
It was on speaker. He was like trying to talk to all of us and we were all talking.
Okay. Were you guys laughing at him,
Yes,
making fun of him?
no, not making fun of him.
Okay. So during your Kids Talk, you mentioned that these events that kind of involved you and your friend and Ross happened over, well, first you said it happened the same day. Let me ask the question. Did all of these things happen the same day?
Yes,
Okay. So do you remember in the same video when they were asking you to kind of repeat the story, that at a certain point you kind of changed the story and said that these things actually happened on 2 different days? Do you remember that?
no,
Okay. Your Honor, again, I'm about 30 seconds to 40 seconds early, but I don't know I'm going to be able to land it.
You're fine.
Okay. think we established where I was going, Your Honor, is just again, so as you're listening to the video I just played for you today, do you remember now telling Kids Talk that this actually kind of happened on 2 different days?
Yes.
I guess when you say.
But let me ask
this-
you, after hearing that today, is it your testimony that the allegations against Ross that it happened on 2 days or 1 day?
Can you repeat that?
So all of the different things, because remember he's here on a couple of different charges. There's been multiple things that you guys have alleged that he did.
Hold on one second.
I'm just gonna object to all of the different things. I'm not,
I can list the counts.
I mean,
I understand her point. I mean, I'm not
Because
trying to testify, but
I know they're here after we redirect. No, you're fine. No. You're fine. I see them out in the hallway.
thank you. No worries. Oh, no, yeah, it's okay.
sorry.
No, that's okay. All right, sorry, Judge.
It's okay. So I'm not gonna keep going over these too much longer, don't worry. But it's really important that we figure this out, because earlier today, you said everything happened on the same day. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
Okay, when I say everything happened, I meant the leg, the exchanging the phone numbers, text messaging, okay? Did you make any other allegations against Ross on something he did on a different day?
I think it was like the day after all that happened. He went to go check his mail again, and we were just sitting at the park, but I don't know if anything happened that day.
You've answered my question. I just want to get some, again, clear if it was 1 day or 2 days, because it matters for what I'm trying to get figured out. So after all this happened, I keep saying this, after the incidents that happened on the days that we've been talking about, you ever see him again, Ross?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you saw Ross?
When me and Kyla were walking to the store, and he was driving around in his truck.
And he doesn't live in the trailer park that you guys were in before, right? Any longer? He doesn't live there now? Okay. Your Honor, I've got no further questions at this point in time.
Thank you, sir. Any redirect, ma'am?
Haley, when Mr. Hadley was just asking you some questions, you had talked a little bit about when Ross called you on the phone. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you had said that Kyla's brother answered the phone and the call was on speakerphone, right?
Yes.
And that you were laughing when you were during that call. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Why were you laughing?
Because like Kyla's brother was he was making jokes or whatever, and that's when we started laughing.
Okay, and that was on the phone with Ross?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Perry, thank you for your testimony. You may step down. Before you call your next witness, we're going to take a brief recess of this case. Officer Rapp, if you would get that wedding party in here, we'll do this wedding, and then you can call your next witness. I know.
That's awesome.
I was trying to get a
Yeah.
good breaking point for this.
I think that's it.
You're trying to break my nice stuff. What are you doing?
Thank you for taking the time for us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Lisa, hi, good to meet you. Mr. Sheets?
Yes, Ken, you can call me Ken,
Ken.
Kenny, whatever.
Good to meet you. And the witnesses? Lisa. Hi.
We've met before. I
Oh, okay.
Just don't see her in a regular job.
I am so sorry. We have a trial schedule and I just want, I saw you all in the hallway and you look so stunning. Thank you. I said, well, we'll take a brief recess. We'll get you married and get you on through there.
Oh, this is fine. We're ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, I did.
I got the ring. One
You
job.
want mine?
Well, let's see what it looks like. Maybe I want it.
I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Oh, no, do we?
Yeah.
It's been a day.
Oh, wow, wait a minute. Let's talk about that.
That's your second set. I bought the other set much. I didn't like it. I don't know what after I looked and I bought another.
That is so cute. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Any story about your background? Usually I get a chance to call people and say, how did you meet? How long you been together?
We met, what, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
And we dated up for a little bit and we went away and then 12 years later, she texted me on Facebook and then we.
Yes, can't say it any better than that, so we'll get to it. We're gathered here today to celebrate the union of Keith and Jeanette.
Kim.
Kid, I'm looking right at it.
That's a
Ken and
good thing.
Jeanette. Marriage is an honorable estate and should not be entered into lightly. If anyone can show why Ken and Jeanette should not be lawfully joined together, let them speak now and forever hold their peace. Same questions to you, Ken and Jeanette. If either of you know any reason why you may not be lawfully joined together, speak now and forever hold your peace. The marriage ceremony is a celebration of love and friendship. Those who are assembled here today believe in the two of you and your commitment to each other. I congratulate you on your decision to bind your relationship in marriage and urge you to remember during difficult times the feelings that got you here today, those feelings of love, respect, and friendship. Please face each other. Ken, will you take Jeanette in marriage? Don't look at me, keep looking at her. And do you promise to love, honor, and care for her in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Jeanette, will you take Ken in marriage? And do you promise to love, honor, and care for him in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, as long as you both shall live? I do. The rings? Ken, take Jeanette's ring, place it on her finger, and repeat after me, okay? I can take, look at her, not at me.
I'm hearing it there, that's why.
Then I'll talk louder. Take you, Jeanette, in marriage,
I, Jeanette, take you in marriage,
to have and to hold,
to have and behold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
richer and poor,
in sickness and in health,
to sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and cherish,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
Jeanette, please place his ring on his finger and repeat after me. Oh. I, Jeanette, take you, Ken, in marriage, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, as long as we both shall live. For as much as Ken and Jeanette have consented together in matrimony and have borne witness to this before this company, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Michigan, I now pronounce you man and wife.
Yeah.
Congratulations. We have a few things to sign. Here. Does Sandy stay up here? Does Sandy stay up here?
I saw her go back down.
She went back downstairs, okay. So, the witnesses. There's 3 copies of this you have to sign. So whichever signature of witness and do it 3 times. Yep. Right above your name, signature of witness.
You had to put me in there.
Okay. Same thing. Same thing. Above. I make it for everybody. Because they come here and I want to do at least a little something. Okay, and then Ken, sign and then print. It must be in black.
Right here?
Sign here and then print below. Three times. Sign. And then when you do it, it is the name you, we're changing what you're doing. Using what you will be. Okay.
Oh, sure.
Dressing up, you can't take them either.
I told her to turn hers off and mine set in my pocket. I'm sorry.
You can still turn off without it. Sign and then print.
Excuse me, I'm sorry for the French.
I've heard a lot worse, unfortunately, in
know
this
that.
room.
With your job, there's heard a lot worse. But I do really appreciate you taking the time.
Are you kidding? It's the happiest day for me.
Is it?
I love when people come here to get married. We don't do divorce here. I wouldn't want to. Divorce is circuit court.
That's downtown.
Yeah, downtown Texas.
Oh, that, no.
I've done there,
This is my last one.
and it takes like 8 months.
Thank you so much for letting me be part of your special day.
You're very
Do you
welcome.
think we could get a picture of the fort? Absolutely. Probably this way so you don't have these other people. in the
Oh,
background.
look, man.
They're all witnesses. Big smiles. Why does Ken have a bigger smile than everybody else? He always smiles like that. Last one.
That's because I got my false teeth in
Thank-
there. Forget 'em.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
is for
you,
you
ma'am.
all.
Have a
I
blessed
don't
day.
know, you too. I don't know if Sandy needs to see you again, but other than that, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for letting us do this.
Oh, yeah.
God bless.
Your next witness, please. I'm sorry, we're back on the record in 220614 and 220615.
Your Honor, the people call Kyle now.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Keep coming. Come up to this podium right here in the middle for me, please, okay? State your first and last name and then spell them both, okay?
Kyla Fresno,
Spell them. Spell your first and last name.
KYLAPRESNELN.
S-P-R-E-S. Raise your right hand. Or do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Before you come up here into the witness stand, I have to ask you to do a few things for me. I need you to keep your voice up. When you come sit in this chair, there's a man standing at the far back of the room. You have to speak loud enough for him to hear what you're saying, okay? And when you respond, it has to be yes or no. It can't be because she's recording what you're saying and she won't be able to pick it up, okay? Okay, come up here, please, and have the seat in this black chair that's closest to me. And if for some reason Heather is not picking up your voice, I might ask you to repeat what you've said or keep your voice up for me, okay? Thank you. Ms. Manarino.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Ms. Presnell, before I ask you about the incident in question, you were just out in the hall with Haley, right? Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you know that Haley testified today in the court, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you and Haley talk about anything that she said while she was in court?
No.
Do you know anything about what she testified about?
No.
When you and Haley were sitting in the hallway, did you talk at all about this case?
No.
Come up a little closer. Either move the microphone closer to you, please, or yep, set a little closer. Thank you.
Okay, and just try and speak up a little bit. I know it's hard. Haley had the same difficulties. Okay, so Kyla, I want to talk to you about June 21st of 2022, okay? Do you remember that date?
Not the exact date, but I remember some.
Okay, I didn't understand.
She said not exactly.
And then she said something else. I heard the not exactly.
Okay, can you repeat what you said, but talk a little bit louder?
I don't remember the date.
Okay. Was there? You know why we're at court today?
Yes.
The events,
We'll stipulate for identification purposes and jurisdictional purposes, if that helps today too. I know that you
Yeah.
played that, but
okay,
so yeah, if there's a line of question that deals with where the location of the alleged events or the identification of the defendant, we'll stipulate as such.
Thank you, Mr. Hadley.
okay, so we're good on the date, the location, and identification?
Yep.
Okay.
June 21st, 2022 in Van Buren Township.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so Kyla, was there a date last summer where? Trying to get there.
Just ask it and we'll see if Mr. Hadley pops
I
up.
know. Was there a date last summer that something happened that caused you to make a report to the police?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall where you were on that date? Before you made the report to the police, do you remember what happened before that?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember where you were?
At the park.
Okay, when you say at the park, what do you mean?
I don't know what day we're talking. Like the first time or,
Like the first time?
yeah.
So let me ask you this, was there more than one date that things happened that you reported to the police?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the very first date, okay? So on that date, you said you were at the park? You said
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And when you say park, what kind of park are you talking about?
Like the playground.
Okay, and is that playground near where you live?
Yes.
Who were you at the playground with?
My brother and my sister, Haley, and our one other friend.
Okay. And Haley is the one who was in the courtroom a couple minutes ago?
Yes.
Okay, and then your brother and sister,
Yes.
and then you said there was another person there?
Yeah.
Okay, who is that person?
Me and Haley's old friend Maddie.
I'm sorry.
Our old friend Maddie.
What's the first name?
Maddie.
Maddie? Okay. And when you say old friend, does that mean that you and Haley are no longer friends with Maddie?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you and your siblings and Haley were at the park, was there, and when you first got there, was there anybody else there?
No.
At any point while you were at the park, did anyone else show up?
Yes.
Who else? Did you say him? Okay. Are you talking about somebody in the courtroom?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess, who are you talking about in the courtroom?
That guy.
Okay, so you're talking about the one sitting next to the lawyer?
Yeah.
And so he's the one who came to the park while you and your friend and your siblings were there?
Yes.
Well, I guess walk me through what happened when he came up to you at the park.
So we were sitting down at the benches at the park, like under the pavilion, and he came and sat next to Haley. And
Okay, and so Haley's sitting on a bench in the pavilion,
yeah,
and where are you?
across from her.
Okay, and you're sitting on a different bench?
No, it's the same one, but there's 4 seats, like around the table.
Okay. So you're sitting, where, are you across or next to Haley?
Across.
Okay. And so the guy comes up, and what do you see him do?
He touched Haley's leg.
Okay, let me ask you this, does he just walk up and touch her leg?
He sits next to us and starts talking to Haley.
Okay. Sat down next to Haley and was talking to her.
Yeah.
Okay, could you hear what he was saying?
He asked for her phone number, and he started talking about how he likes younger children.
I'm sorry.
He started talking about how he likes younger kids.
And at what point does he touch Haley's leg?
After he asked for her phone number, he like rubbed on her leg.
Okay, and what part of her leg did he touch?
Like the lower part of her thigh.
Okay, so closer to her knee?
A little bit higher.
Okay. And what did he use to touch her thigh?
His hand.
After he put his hand on Haley's thigh, what happened next?
Haley got up and she walked away.
Okay, and where did Haley walk away to?
So like near the trees, I think.
And how far from where she was sitting was that?
Well, the trees is like right next to the park, and the pavilion is on the other side. So she walked more closer to the park.
Okay, so are we talking like she took a couple steps or she took more steps?
Like a couple.
And after Haley got up, what did you do?
I got up with her and we started walking around the park.
And the man that was touching her leg, what did he do?
He was like just sitting there still.
So he stayed sitting down after.
I think so.
So after you leave.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I didn't, what was her answer on that one?
Answer was yes, she kept sitting there.
Okay, I think so. I just couldn't hear what the last
Yeah,
portion.
I
Okay.
think so.
All right, I'm sorry. I missed that. I was trying to get it.
That's okay. So you and Haley have taken a few steps away from where the guy is that right?
Yes.
And he's still sitting there.
Yeah.
And so where do you go next, if anywhere?
We were just at the park. We just stayed at the park.
Okay, and does the guy stay at the park?
Yeah, I think, yeah. he did.
And how long are you all at the park together?
Like 25 or 20 minutes.
Okay, and then after those 20 or 25 minutes, does someone leave the park?
Yes,
Okay, and who was that left?
that guy.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Him,
Did you say that guy? Was that your answer?
yeah.
At any point while you were speaking with the guy at the park, did he tell you what his name was?
Yes,
What did he tell you his name was?
Ross.
So after you said 20 or 25 minutes, Ross leaves the park,
Yeah,
where does he go, if you know?
to the mailboxes
And where are the mailboxes at?
across from the park.
Did you go with him to the mailboxes?
No,
Did Haley go with him to the mailboxes?
no,
Were you able to see after Ross left the mailboxes where he went next?
home.
He went home? Is that
Yeah,
yes?
yes.
And where is home for him?
Where he lived.
Were you able to see where he went?
Yes,
Okay, is it somewhere else in your community or was it outside?
in the same place that I live.
The same place that you live?
Yeah,
Okay. Had you ever seen Ross before this day that you see him at the pavilion?
no,
Did you know who he was when he approached you at the pavilion?
no,
Did you know anything about him at that point?
no.
After he walked home, did you see him again that day?
Yes.
When?
Me and Haley and our friends were walking around the trailer park and
I'm
we-
sorry, you were walking around the trailer park?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we were just walking and we were walking to Speedway and then we saw him at his house, which is near Speedway, and he asked us to help water his plants.
And did you respond when he asked you that?
No,
What did you do?
we were just laughing.
Did he say anything else?
He tried to give us water.
How did he try to give you water?
He had a cup of water and he tried to give it to Haley.
Did he say anything to Haley when he tried to give her the water?
Yes,
What was that?
yeah.
What did he say?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
If there's something we can do to make it easier for you to answer questions or keep your voice up, if you tell me, I'll do it. But for right now, you have to answer her questions, okay?
Are you uncomfortable telling me what he said?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that because of what it was that was said?
Yes.
Do you think you can say it?